You and I are going to change the way people experience you, not just how they see you, how they feel you. There's a moment, barely 2 seconds long, when a woman's mind decides whether you re another forgettable face or a man she'll replay in her head at midnight. That decision isn't made by logic. It's a flash of sensation, a small electrical storm created by presence, contrast, and the way you imprint on her nervous system. Most men try to convince with words. The memorable man shapes perception. You're not chasing attention, you're designing memory. The difference is everything. Because when you become memorable, attraction doesn't just spark, it sustains. So listen closely. I'll give you 10 precise mind tricks, subtle, clean psychological levers that make you stick in her mind effortlessly. No corny lines, no fake stories, no acting. Pure signal. If what you've heard so far is shifting how you see yourself, stay with me until the end because we're just getting started. First, understand this. Memory loves contrast and pattern breaks. It loves specific sensory cues, unfinished loops, and emotion-rich moments. It cements peaks, endings, and anything that feels chosen, not accidental. And it rejects the bland. If you're blending in, you're volunteering to be deleted. From now on, everything you do communicates that you choose your words, your posture, your timing. Nothing random. The way you stand, the rhythm of your speech, the precision of your compliments, the slight pause after your name, all of it becomes part of the signature she can quite explain, but can shake off either. If this is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. The first mind trick, the first imprint pause. Most men rush their introductions like a salesman trying to keep your attention from walking away. You're going to do the opposite. When you introduce yourself, you slow the tempo by 5% and you insert a half-second pause after you say your name. This small silence is a pattern break. It tells her mind something different is happening. Stand with grounded feet, weight evenly distributed, shoulders relaxed but not loose, chin level, not tilted up or down. Breathe low. Speak from your chest, not your throat. Say your name, then hold a half-second of eye contact before continuing. That micro pause creates a soft, charged silence that her brain tags as unusual. Unusual becomes interesting, and interesting becomes memorable. Pair it with a subtle smile that suggests composure rather than need. You're not trying to be liked. You're expressing that you like where you are and who you are. The mind remembers the anchor point of a first impression. Plant it. Still inside the first imprint pause, calibrate your gaze with a 60-40 rule. Spend 60% of the time at her eyes, 40% breaking contact to glance at her hands, the environment or something you're referencing. This keeps your presence steady but never invasive. When you return your eyes to hers, do it with intention, like you're choosing to re-enter a channel, not drifting in it. Speak slightly slower than the room's overall energy. You're setting the rhythm, not following it. Your voice becomes the metronome she unconsciously syncs to. You'll be surprised how many times she mirrors your pace without noticing. That synchronization is a glue for memory. The second mind trick, the signature frame statement. Early in the interaction, drop one short sentence that defines how you move through the world. One sentence that frames you with clarity, not bragging, not a resume, a principle. It might sound like, I don't rush decisions, I choose once and I choose well, or I make space for people who make space for themselves, or I value depth over noise. Craft one that is true to you and practice it until it feels like a natural part of your speech. This single sentence becomes a label her mind uses to organize everything you say and do afterward. Frames lead interpretation. When she senses a man who lives by his own principles, she senses rarity, and memory loves rarity. Don't repeat it more than once. Let it color your behavior. If a waiter delays your order, you don't huff, you lean back and keep pace. If a phone notification interrupts, you ignore it mid-sentence because your attention is sovereign. Your frame statement makes sense because you embody it without effort. Refine that frame so it's about values and boundaries, not about other people. Avoid negative framing like, I hate fake people. That's reactive. Use proactive language. I keep my circle small and intentional. See the difference? It's controlled. It implies you curate your time. Curated time is attractive because it's scarce without you forcing scarcity. When you describe yourself by principle, you become the man who is already living the life she wants to be invited into. Not a salesman, a selector. Keep it brief, keep it calm, and move on. The less you push, the deeper it sinks. The third mind trick, precision complimenting. Most men say you're beautiful and evaporate into the noise. You will never give a generic compliment. You'll choose one specific detail and link it to identity, not just appearance. For example, you might notice the intentionality of how she put herself together, or the way she chose a color that frames her eyes. Anchor the observation with a short because or it signals. Memory holds on to specificity because it gives the mind a reason. That color you chose frames your eyes in a way that signals you know exactly what works on you. That's not flattery, that's a read. It's short, it's accurate, it's about intention. The brain flags it as earned, not sprayed. She'll recall the line later because it affirmed her agency. Don't stack compliments. One precise line early, one precise line later. Max. The power is in scarcity. Precision complimenting extends to energy and behavior, not just aesthetics. Notice pacing. Notice the way she pauses before answering. You take a second before you answer questions. That's rare. It reads as someone who values accuracy over noise. You're rewarding distinctiveness. You're telling her, I see what others don't. Human memory anchors in the feeling of being seen accurately. When someone nails a detail about you, you replay it. That's what you're engineering. Replay value. Precision plus restraint equals memorability. The fourth mind trick, name echo with open loops. Use her name sparingly, only at moments you want the mind's highlighter to come out. The first time after she says it. The second time to mark a point you want her to remember. Then stop. Too much and it gets salesy. Too little and you're generic. Alongside name echo, create one or two open loops. Topics you reference but don't fully explain. Remind me to show you the trick I use when places are too loud to really connect. You don't show it now. The brain hates incomplete tasks. It tags them for later. That's called the Zeigarnik effect, and you're not weaponizing it. You're just using it responsibly. Open loops make follow-ups natural because you have a reason to continue. The key is to ensure the loop is authentic and useful. Don't tease something you can't deliver. Plant, move, and return at the right time. If what you've heard so far is sharpening your edge, stay with me. The next one, stack. The fifth mind trick, asymmetric disclosure. Most men either overshare to prove honesty or hide everything to seem mysterious. Both are forgettable. Asymmetric disclosure means revealing one vivid, specific truth that shows real self-awareness, then letting silence do the rest. For example, acknowledging a standard you hold for yourself or a habit you've trained because it keeps you centered. One line. Precise. You show interiority without dumping your life story. The contrast between openness and restraint creates depth. She senses there's more, but you're not performing vulnerability. You're demonstrating it without seeking approval. The mind tags that as trustworthy. The feminine is drawn to containment, feeling that what's inside a man is both potent and under control. Asymmetric disclosure is the embodiment of that. Share one thing that matters, then move the spotlight back to the present moment. To execute asymmetry, pair it with a clean time boundary. Early on, set a soft constraint. I've got 10 minutes before I meet a friend. Now the conversation happens inside a frame you control. Scarcity sharpens attention, and attention builds memory. Because you're not lingering to be entertained, you're sliding a moment of quality into a disciplined life. You don't have to leave exactly at 10 minutes, but you respect the spirit of it. Exit high. Always exit high. We'll return to endings later because the brain is biased to remember peaks and finishes more than the middle. The sixth mind trick, rhythm switching. Humans entrain to rhythm. If your delivery is monotonous, even good content gets erased. You'll consciously rotate through 3 tempos: hook, depth, and lean back. Hook is slightly faster, energetic, to establish a vibe and break ice. Depth is slower, lower volume, elongated vowels. This is where you ask a real question. or share a compact insight. Lean back is silence-rich, relaxed humor, and observational comments that breathe. Switch between these intentionally. For example, you capture interest with a crisp line, shift to a reflective pace when she says something meaningful, and then lean back to let her expand. This choreography imprints because it feels like a song with verses and a chorus. Brains remember songs. Practice with breath holds. At the end of a key sentence, shut your mouth and count one beat in your mind. That beat allows the line to land. Combine it with micro-expressions, a slight tilt of the head when you're intrigued, an amused exhale when something is playful, a direct, still gaze when you want to signal gravity. Do not overact. Less is more. Your goal is to be felt, not to perform. Rhythm switching also applies to physical movement. Anchor your feet when making a point. Shift weight only when transitioning topics. Small, purposeful movements look intentional and read as confidence. The body under control is memorable because it communicates you're not ruled by the environment, you're shaping it. The seventh mind trick, sensory signature. Memory is tied to smell more than any other sense. Choose a clean, distinctive scent and apply lightly to pulse points, wrists, back of neck, and a single spray on the chest under your shirt. Avoid sweet excess. Think fresh, mineral, woody, or subtly spicy, aromas that suggest presence without announcing themselves. Pair the scent with one tactile cue she'll notice on contact, a particular fabric on your jacket sleeve, the texture of a bracelet, or a ring with a cool temperature when you greet. You're creating a multi-sensory anchor, a visual of your silhouette, a controlled voice, a clean scent, and a precise texture. Even if she can't name it, her nervous system will. Later, when she smells something similar, you'll flash back in. That is an unfair advantage that has nothing to do with genetics and everything to do with design. Make your visual signature equally deliberate. One small, consistently worn item, a thin leather band, a minimal ring, a watch with a clean face, that becomes your emblem. Not flashy, not expensive looking for the sake of it, just consistent. Over time, that item becomes an identifier. The guy with the, even if she forgets your name in the short term, she remembers the emblem, and memory uses hooks to find deeper files. Consistency beats overwhelm. Too many accessories blur the image. One or two anchors sharpen it. The eighth mind trick, the callback thread and the peak end craft. Conversations are not linear, they're woven. When she mentions something interesting, a childhood habit, a hobby she pursues, an opinion with teeth, tag it mentally and bring it back later in a different context. That thing you said earlier about choosing challenges on purpose, that's why you handle chaos better than most. You're building a thread through the talk. It signals real listening, not passive nodding. This callback tells her mind, he holds details. People remember those who remember them. Then engineer your end. The brain overweight peaks and endings. Create a small peak, laughter, a concise insight, a moment of alignment close to your exit. Then finish with a clean, contained line that hits principle, not promise. Good conversation. I'm heading out. Continue that one next time. Notice the restraint. You're not asking for anything. You're curating the end. She will feel the incomplete loop, but also the respect in your boundary. That's the space where memory grows. The ninth mind trick, time boxing and scarcity without games. You don't play hard to get. You're hard to keep up with because your life has structure. Before the interaction begins, set your window. If you approach, you already know how long you have. If she approaches you, you still decide when you'll leave. Audiences remember performers who leave on a high note. Same here. When you exit, tie it to a real commitment, not a vague excuse. Your time boxing also applies to follow-up. When you text, reference a very specific detail from the conversation, not a generic line. You're the first person I've met who actually time blocks Sundays to be unreachable. Respect. Short, specific, identity-based. Then, propose a clean next step that aligns with something she already mentioned. You're not trying to prove you're worth it. You act like a man whose time and attention calibrate upward naturally. She'll remember how she felt in the disappearing space you left behind. The 10th mind trick, Warm social proof and micro preselection. Humans use social cues to estimate value. The mind remembers the man who is clearly valued by others without him having to say it. Arrange your environment so you're greeted by name where you go often. Learn the barista's name. Tip with ease. Appreciate staff with eye contact and a short, sincere line. Not performative, real. When a woman sees others react positively to you, especially people who done to benefit by flattering you, her mind logs you as safe and significant. Micro preselection is not about walking in with a crowd. It's about carrying social ease that says, I fit into rooms, rooms fit around me. Don't over-engineer this. It's built over time. The quickest move is to become a regular in one or two places that match your vibe. Familiarity creates a halo. She may not consciously note it, but her memory will. Now we layer these 10 so they reinforce each other. Start with the first imprint pause and the signature frame statement. That's your opening and your identity anchor. Add precision complementing early. One line, specific, identity linked. Weave in name echo sparingly and set one open loop that's actually valuable, not fluff. Drop a single asymmetric disclosure once you sense comfort, then return to the moment. Modulate with rhythm switching so your voice sculpts the experience rather than blends into the room. Keep your sensory signature consistent so any future encounter reactivates the memory trace. Use the callback thread to stitch the interaction into a coherent tapestry. End with peak-end discipline, an elevated moment and a clean exit, and let social proof be the context, not the sales pitch. 10 pieces, one signature. Let's ground this in behavior you execute today. Before you go out, choose your scent and your emblem item. Decide your time window. Write your one-sentence frame. Say it aloud until it sounds like you, not a performance. In the moment, lead with your name and the half-beat of silence. Breathe. Keep your attention on her eyes with the 60-40 rhythm. It prevents you from staring or darting around. Offer one precise compliment linked to intention. As you speak, notice your own tempo and deliberately slow it when something matters. When she shares a real piece of herself, mirror the gravity with a slower pace, lower volume, slight forward lean, then lean back to give space. Tag one detail you'll call back later and lightly seed one open loop. If you are resonating with this and you want me to go even deeper into framing and timing in a future training, tell me in the comments. I read them and build around what you ask. Calibrating touch without being invasive belongs here too, because touch, when appropriate and invited by the flow, is a powerful memory cue. In the early minutes, keep touch absent unless it's a natural, brief, socially normative moment. A light knuckle tap when you both laugh at the same thing. A quick shoulder tap when navigating space. If you do, let your hand be still for a fraction of a second. No rubbing, no lingering, and remove it first. That stillness is masculine. It says, I meant that. If touch doesn't show up naturally, don't manufacture it. Control is being able to refrain as easily as you engage. You're not tallying points, you're reading reality and leaving a crisp imprint. Your words should be clean, picture-rich, and short enough to stick. Avoid filler. Avoid qualifying your statements to be nice. Politeness is good. Apologizing for existing is forgettable. Speak in declaratives more than questions. Use questions to open doors, not to beg for approval. What do you actually enjoy about that is different from, is that okay? One enters her world with curiosity, the other seeks permission to be himself. Women remember men who are curious about reality and decisive about themselves. Now let's sharpen the tool of silence. Silence is not empty, it's charged. After a meaningful line, shut up. Let her feel it. Most men can't tolerate silence because they're afraid of being judged. You will train yourself to enjoy it. Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, breathe through your nose, and let your gaze rest lightly. This communicates acceptance of the moment and acceptance of yourself. The mind remembers people who can hold space without flinching. That memory reads as safety and power. Your physical presence. Eliminate fidget signals. No pocket jingling, no shoe bouncing, no over-checking your phone. When you adjust clothing, do it once, then leave it. Keep your gestures in the plane of your torso and avoid flared elbows that read as chaotic. When seated, plant your feet flat and occupy space naturally. It doesn't require sprawling, it requires not compressing yourself. The posture you hold teaches her nervous system how to relax around you. Relaxation plus interest equals a memory with warmth. That's the cocktail you're aiming for. Let's talk boundaries as a memory amplifier. Boundaries are not announcements, they're actions. If something disrespects your time or your values, you calmly redirect. If someone tries to pull you into drama, you opt out with a short line and a changed subject. If a plan changes last minute in a way that disrespects your effort, you don't explode. You simply reschedule for a time that respects your standards. A man with calm boundaries creates a distinctive emotional texture. He's not easily moved. That texture is rare and rarity is remembered. When humor shows up, keep it observational and timing-based, not self-deprecating. A little self-amusement is good. Tearing yourself down for cheap laughs is forgettable and erodes attraction. Keep wit clean and light. Make it about the absurdity of situations rather than people's insecurities. That flavor of humor lands as intelligence without cruelty. And women attach positive emotion to the memory of men who made them feel sharp and comfortable at the same time. Your phone etiquette is also part of being memorable. Never place it on the table face up. If it must be present, face down and out of hand. When she speaks, do not glance at it. If you have to respond to something time-sensitive, narrate and do it quickly. One line, eyes back up. This micro-ritual communicates that your attention is earned, not scattered. Attention is the rarest currency now. The person who gives it with intention is memorable by default. Follow-up behavior cements your memory in the days after. Reference the open loop or the callback, tie it to your frame, and propose a time that fits your life. You mentioned you handle your Sundays like a fortress. I respect that. Tuesday 7 works on my side. Short, firm, respectful. If you want to seed a sensory trigger, wear the same scent when you see her next. The moment she registers it, you'll watch old emotions reload. That's not manipulation, it's continuity. Let's return to the idea of being chosen versus chasing. The man who chases tries to be everything to everyone and dissolves into a puddle of maybe. The chosen man is specific. He knows his 3 core standards for women he invests in. Could be self-respect, curiosity, warmth, and he filters. When you filter, your presence in conversation carries clarity. You don't nod at everything. You don't agree to things that don't align. You don't try to fix her mood. You stand in your weather and invite her to enjoy the shade. That pressureless clarity is addictive. She'll remember the way she didn't have to guess with you. The mind tags relief as reward, and it seeks it again. Eye contact, one more calibration. Use the triangle, left eye, right eye, mouth, slowly, subtly, during moments of closeness. This isn't a trick to seduce with your eyes. It's a way to keep your gaze dynamic so it never becomes a stare. The tiny movements prevent intimidation and maintain intimacy. When she speaks about something meaningful, hold her eyes through her last couple of words, then soften your gaze as you respond. That transition tells her you absorbed what she said. People remember being absorbed. Clothing. Don't try to be a peacock unless it's truly your nature. Fit and texture beat flash. Clothing that fits communicates self-respect without speaking. Colors that complement your skin tone do more work than brand logos ever will. Choose one piece that has a story, where you got it, why you chose it, but only reveal the story if it organically fits. Otherwise, let it be silently distinctive. Memory attaches to clean silhouettes and consistent style. Be the man who looks like himself in every setting, adjusted for context but unmistakable. Your environment supports your signature. Choose 2 or 3 venues where you feel at home and where the staff knows you. That repeated context builds a lattice for your social proof. When you walk in and are greeted, you don't perform happiness. You nod, you smile, you exchange one human line. She observes the micro-respect. That's all you need. If what you're hearing is making you rethink how you've been moving through rooms, good. That was the point. If you know a brother who needs to hear this, send it to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. Handling interruptions is another high signal moment. If someone interrupts your conversation, pivot with grace. A quick acknowledgement, a polite hold with your hand. Finish your sentence, then include or exit cleanly. Never show agitation. Most men spike emotionally when interrupted because they feel their value slipping. You show indifference to interruption and loyalty to the moment you're in. That combination reads as authority and warmth, an unforgettable pairing. Energy management. Do not burn yourself out trying to be on. Memorability comes from contrast and control, not constant performance. Give a moment your full attention, then step back and be quiet. You don't owe the room entertainment. In fact, the pause between your highlights is what makes the highlights bright. If you feel your energy dip, excuse yourself, reset, return. Protect your signal. A clear signal beats a loud one. Reading interest without guessing. You're watching for engagement cues that are simple and honest. Proximity, touch initiation. Questions that go beyond small talk. Mirrors of your phrasing, the way she shares little risks in her responses. If those aren't present, you don't force anything. You leave her with a positive memory and move. A man who can walk away without punishing anyone is remembered as rare. That rarity builds long-term attraction more reliably than any line you could deliver. Let's sharpen your internal language. Replace "I hope she likes me" with "I wonder if we align." Replace "you, I need to keep her entertained" with "I'll keep the signal clean." Replace "What if I run out of things to say" with "I'm here to observe, calibrate, and create one quality moment." Your self-talk writes your body language from the inside out. Change the script and everything else follows. If you want an advanced move, use anticipation windows. Mention an upcoming commitment that has presence, a training, a project you're building, a trip you've chosen for a specific reason. Not to brag, to communicate a life in forward motion. Momentum is attractive because it promises future stories and growth, but you must be able to talk about it with grounded simplicity. Over-explaining kills the effect. One or two lines, then back to the present. The future only matters to her brain if you clearly value the present moment with her now. Bring your awareness to micro-acknowledgements. When she says something you respect, don't just say "nice." Mark it with a specific line that shows you absorbed it. That takes discipline, or that's uncommon. Short, calibrated, sincere. These micro-stamps tell her nervous system, "He sees my agency." People become attached to those who attach to their agency. It's a loop that rewards both sides. Now, endings, again, because they matter even more than you think. Before you walk away, revisit one earlier thread with a single insight-rich line, then exit on a rhythm shift. Slightly slower sentence, eye contact, half smile, a nod, then turn. Don't linger to see if she watches you leave. Assume she does. Your exit becomes an image in her head. The next time she thinks of you, that's what plays. Craft it. If you've stayed with me this far, you've noticed something. None of this is about pretending. It's about refining. You're not manufacturing a character. You retightening the signal of who you already are, so the feminine mind can actually receive it. The 10 mind tricks are habits of attention and timing, not manipulation. They're cues that say, "I'm intentional, I'm selective, I'm present, and I'm not in a hurry." Men like that are memorable because they're uncommon. Uncommon is valuable. Valuable is attractive. So here's your field checklist before you go test this in the real world. 1. Craft your one-line frame. 2. Choose your scent and emblem. 3. Commit to the first imprint pause and 60-40 gaze. 4. Prepare one identity-based compliment template in your head, ready to be fitted to the specifics you notice. 5. Decide your time window and stick to your exit. 6. Practice rhythm switching at home. Read a paragraph in hook, one in depth, one in lean back, so your mouth and breath know the gears. 7. Pick one open loop you can reference naturally. 8. Pick 2 venues where you will be seen and where you will build warm micro-relationships. 9. Strip your movements of fidgeting. 10. Set your internal language. No neediness, only calibration. Do this and you'll feel the shift in the room before anyone says a word. If what you've learned today changed how you'll walk into your next conversation, stay close. I'm building more for men who are done with noise and ready for precision. If this hits you, drop your thoughts below and tell me which mind trick I'll implement first. I read every single one. And if you know a brother who needs to hear this, someone who's a good man but keeps getting deleted, send this to him now. The world doesn't need louder men, it needs clearer ones. Go be the man she can't forget.